Now this area is a lot easier to film in than any big city around the world, right? It's very, very difficult to film in an actual town like that. Just ask Jimmy Fallon how difficult it is. He does a Tonight Show in New York City.
Hey everyone, welcome to New York. I got my start right here in New York on Saturday Night Live. This is actually my old neighborhood. Once got mugged over there by an old woman. Tough lady. This is my favorite hot dog guy. Hey buddy, how's it going? Remember me? No. Just like old times. Gotta love New York City. Hey, I'm walking here. Hey, it's cool guys. I was just walking there. So it's not exactly New York, but a lot of times when you see New York in the movies, it was shot right here on the Universal Metro sets. If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. Even if you make it here on the Universal lot.
And like I said, there have been thousands of movies and television shows made out here. Even this giant brick wall featured a superhero, the Amazing Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield, clawing up that giant brick wall. My Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire, filmed Spider-Man 2 just around the corner. This was Broadway, where MJ had her Broadway debut, and then Doc Ock threw a car through a cafe window. Oh, yeah. Now I'm going to tell you a lot more about that area in a second, but we got to go meet a buddy of mine at the top of the hill named King Kong. Here's Academy Award-winning director Peter Jackson. Tell us a little bit more.
It's the original King Kong that made me want to direct movies. I saw that movie on TV when I was about 8 or 9 years old, and I wanted to become a filmmaker. I like films that just take you away from your own real life and sweep you up an adventure. Kong literally does that. I mean, you're on board the ship, you're sailing to a lost island, you're encountering monsters and creatures from, prehistoric times. So I was thrilled when Universal invited me back to Skull Island, and it's great to have you along for the ride. Now, we have created this 3D immersive experience, so you're going to have your glasses ready. Don't put them on yet.
The very following year, the same studio tour that he loved at 18 at a location based off of that movie, and it's where we're pulling in. Welcome to Amity Island from Steven Spielberg's Jaws. You might remember Amity. It's pretty well known for its little boating and fishing community and a slight shark problem over the years. My buddy George was just promoted to deputy at Amity Island. He said, don't worry about the shark hanging out. He's got it all taken care of. That's a different shark, though. That is a very big shark. Stay seated. Don't go. That's George in the water. George. George. You okay? He's fine. Yeah, he's good. He's dead. He's very good. Okay, we're gonna pull forward and we're gonna park next to these gasoline barrels. That's what it says to do in the safety manual. That I definitely read. Oh no. Okay, it took the whole time. Just don't touch the gasoline. Don't touch that. Yeah, that's not good. That's not good at all. Oh, it's spreading. Oh, that's not great. Oh, that's not great. Okay. Dig it up there. Do we just wait here? I think we just. Nope. We gotta go. We're gonna need a bigger tramp. Congratulations, everyone! You just survived Bruce the shark. Good old Bruce. Hey, I'm gonna hang out the window. Don't tell my boss. Hi. I got a question for y'all. If you know the answer, just yell it at me. What kind of shark is that? What is that? No, it's plastic. It's a plastic shark. No, it's a plastic great white shark. Our plastic great white shark works a lot better than the one that Steven Spielberg used, though. Here he is talking about.
That's a much maligned shark. The shark was frustrating. It didn't really work all the time. It didn't work hardly at all.
Wherever you were on the island, you could hear
Has a full interior, unlike their neighbor, which is just a facade, right? Because you only ever build what you see on camera. You never go in the neighbor's house. You don't need to build it. We'll just imagine the entire thing. One other street of residences that we get to drive down today is called Colonial Street. You might recognize it as the Burbs. That's Tom Hanks and Gary Fisher. It's where Whipsnap Manor was in Casper, starring Christina Ricci. It was Nellyville of Nellie and Kelly Rowland in the Dilemma video. It's widely recognized as Wisteria Lane from ABC's Desperate Housewives. If you watch the Super Bowl, Beyonce's commercial where she has the lemonade stand, this is where the lemonade stand was. But Desperate Housewives is probably the most wide-reaching part of Colonial Street. Mrs. McCluskey's house there on the right-hand side, the one with the red door. One of my favorite behind-the-scenes story of Desperate Housewives is that they found so many termites inside of Mrs. McCluskey's house that they needed to tear the house down. But the writers heard about that and said, well, if you're going to tear the house down, we got to destroy the show. So they wrote an episode, not that it has termites, that a big tornado comes to town and only hits Mrs. McCluskey's house. A great example of that, we sometimes will write an episode of the show to kind of explain something that actually happened. Same exact thing happened in Superstore with American Ferrera. Big tornado goes through their store at the end of season 1. We tore down their soundstage called Super Nintendo World, so they kind of just wrote an excuse for that one. The final episode of Superstore uses Gray House. They don't go inside, mainly because there's nothing inside of that house except for a giant tree growing out in the middle of it. Yellow House, that's where Davey lived all 4 seasons, Never Have I Ever on Netflix. The Monsters lived in the purple house next to him on the right. And across the street from them, the light blue house is Little Johnny's in the new show Ted. Take a look.
Let the festivities begin.
How many we got?
Well, let's see. We got 20 cardinals.
Fantastic.
Do you think we're getting too old for this?
Oh, come on, Johnny, we're doing a public service here. If a kid leaves the house in a less than stellar Halloween costume, he's got to get the bad news before he makes a fool of himself all over town. We're Samaritans.
Gallons of water. That basin's been there since the 60s. That's where Norman hit the car in Psycho. I guess spoiler alert for a movie that came out 64 years ago. The wall itself was built in the 1980s for a sequel to Jaws called Jaws the Revenge. Now in this scene, you see the plane in the background there, the boat in the foreground. In the sky, it's the wall. They hand painted all the clouds in there. So the plane is literally only a few feet away from the back of the wall. Since then,
Over there, look into the winking well and have your picture taken just like the kids in that old 90s movie Kid Show. That's what this whole place is loosely based on. Remember that one? No? Why? A little further down, you can see the brand new Star Lasso experience. Built to showcase an unbelievable new live show. It's not looking so live anymore. Anyway, behind this Hollywood fantasy, Gold Rush Frontier Town,